Alright, hey guys, I'm getting ready to do the weather update on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Um, I'm going to switch the camera around real quick while I work on the Facebook things for just a second, so give me just a second for me to share the video on Facebook and we'll get right to it. We go to Facebook and I'm going to share the video real quick. Group. Share it to both of my weather groups. So give me a second. Okay. Now I'm going to post that onto that group. And then I'm going to share it again to my other group. I meant to my group now. Okay. Now I'm going to close that off. We're going to go to radar. Play. Now I'm going to switch the camera back over. Here we go. There's the weather camera. Alright guys, so here's the current advisories and watches and warnings out. This orange right here is a heat advisory. And it's in effect for 20 more hours, so it's in effect until tomorrow, till this time tomorrow, which includes just about all of the local coverage area. So I'm not going to read all those counties, but I'm not going to read all those counties. So, and then we got over here an excessive heat warning, which includes the western parts of Kentucky. I'm not going to read all that as well. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and get started with the weather. We're going to start with the HAZ cams first and get that out of the way. Let's go to the HAZ cams and see what it looks like in the area. And yes, we do have a tropical storm. Let me switch hands with the mouse. Probably make it a lot easier. So here's what it looks like right now here in Litchfield. Here's what it looks like right now here in Litchfield. As you can tell, it's very dark. You can see some light pollution. But this is facing northwest. And whoever's watching, thank you for stopping by. Really appreciate it. Here in a little bit, we're going to talk about the severe weather stuff. We're going to look at the weather cams and see what's going on outside real quick. So we're going to look at, we're going to do the Fern Creek camera. So here's what it looks like in Fern Creek, up in Jefferson County. And it is facing northwest. But yeah, that's what it looks like at Fern Creek. Now let's look at Louisville. Let's go look at downtown Louisville real quick. So here's what it looks like in downtown Louisville. It is facing toward... What are we looking at? So apparently we're pointed away from the airport. So we're facing south, almost southwest. Tell you what, I'm going to zoom out the phone camera for just a second. It's almost got a green tint to the sky, but that's just the camera lens. Nothing to be concerned about. Normally they're in a green sky. There's usually a you guys usually say tornado, but it's not that. It's just the camera lens, so don't panic. We're going to look at Gage, Kentucky. Let's look at Gage, Kentucky, and if I'm not mistaken, that's the moon over there in the corner of the screen. That looks like the moon. It's beautiful. Now let's go look at... Hands are getting a little sweaty. Now let's take a look at the Lancaster weather cam with that big old humongous water tower in the middle of town. That is Lancaster, Kentucky, there in Garrett County. Let's zoom in just a little tad. There we go. That's good. But that's Lancaster, Kentucky. We just showed the Litchfield camera. Here's what it looks like over in Lancaster, Kentucky. Pretty clear. Nobody's speeding through the traffic lights like they always do. Okay, we got 3 more weather cams we're going to look at, and then we're going to get to the story of the top story of the severe weather threat. Now we're going to look at the Lexington camera. Let's look at the Lexington. Never mind. Nicholsville camera, not Lexington. Here's what it looks like in Nicholsville. And it looks like it's on top of a dark hill. But you can see a water tower off in the distance. And then let's look at Pikeville camera. Over there in Pikeville, on top of Ryan Hall's house. That's on top of Ryan Hall's house. Up there in the mountains of eastern Kentucky. You can see light off down over that hill. And finally, we're going to close it off at Moorhead, Kentucky. We're going to close it off at Moorhead, Kentucky. So here's what it looks like in Moorhead, Kentucky. You can see the water tower kind of off in the distance. Okay, now we're done with the cameras, so we can just close has cams out. So we're going to go ahead and do the hurricane tracker real quick, because there is a new tropical storm that just developed overnight. And we're going to see where it's at. Let's go to satellite. We'll show on satellite so we can get a little good view of it. So here's where the hurricane is. No, not hurricane, tropical storm. So with a tropical storm, this is where it made landfall at 10 p.m. No, it hasn't made landfall yet, but here's where it's at as of 10 p.m. Let's go to 7 a.m. It's going to remain a tropical storm. And then 7 p.m. tropical storm again. And then, wait a minute, 7 a.m. tropical storm. So 7 p.m. tropical storm, 7 a.m. tropical storm. And as it just goes close to New Orleans and makes landfall, it will be a tropical storm as well. So it's going to make landfall and then it's going to go right back out into the ocean. As a tropical depression. Let's look at the spaghetti models. Here's what it looks like on the spaghetti models. Okay, that's a little too hectic. I'm good. Let's turn that off. Let's turn that off. Let's go to composite. And we're going to show you the risk. But yeah, we're going to look at the risk. I would say we could pull up the probabilistics, but here's where the probabilistics are going to show. It's a little too far past this, so we're going to go to categorical. So here's the categorical for today, just general thunderstorms. That's what we had for today. Tomorrow is the main concern. Now, as you guys can see, they did chop off part of the orange earlier today to where it includes Lexington on up to West Virginia, Ohio, and the Pennsylvania. Most of the coverage area local here will be in the slight risk. But I did see a post on Facebook, which I know we won't find out if this has been cut off, more or extended until 1 a.m. when the next update comes out. But there's a guy that I follow on Facebook. He's not a meteorologist, but he's a storm tracker. He put up that this in the orange area would be the main severe weather threat, but he also drawed over this area right here along 65. Said it would also be a main area for severe weather as it intenses as it moves east, as it moves across from west to east. And then we go to day 3 and there's nothing on the board. But yeah, that's what it shows. We're going to look at the main threats. The hail threat, we need hail threat, not wind. The hail threat, oh yeah. 15% hail threat. There wasn't even a hail threat on the board the last time I looked at it, but now there is. That's for day 2. Wind threat, oh yeah, there's going to be a big wind threat. We are in the 30% to 44% wind risk. And then the purple is the 45. We could see maybe some considerable to destructive severe thunderstorm warnings. And I know we're going to probably see some tornado warnings. But this right here, the purple wind threat, that is not an enhanced risk category winds. That's like a moderate risk area of winds. That's like the kind of winds you get in a moderate risk. So I would not be surprised if the next update they pull the enhanced risk further on west, but then put a moderate risk from Lexington to northeastward. Tornado threat. They've pulled the tornado risk a little bit. They've pulled the brown a little bit. So we're in the Litchfield, we're in the 2% tornado risk, but we're about 30 minutes to an hour away from this tornado risk right here, the 5%. We are not too far. So they've pulled it a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if they pull it on more. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to go back to the cowgirl for just a second. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to point it with my finger. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to see if I can point it better with my finger. So I can show you a little bit. Okay. I'm going to get up for a minute and show you guys a little better. Okay, hold on a second. This right here is the marginal risk, right here in the green. This is the slight risk. This is the enhanced risk that goes all the way up. So, for tomorrow, this is for tomorrow, y'all. This is for tomorrow. That right there is where the greatest risk is, and it goes all the way up into Pennsylvania. Lexington on northeastward. This, from Louisville, Litchfield down to Bowling Green, we're in the level 2 slight risk for tomorrow. And then the green is the lesser threat, the marginal risk. For tonight, Bowling Green's good, but tomorrow, where you guys are in the slight risk. But I can tell you this. I would not be... Yes, the orange was right here. But then they chopped it off at Louisville toward Lexington. They chopped it off. So I would not be surprised if they don't pull this a little further on back. And then somewhere up in here, they issue a moderate risk. I'm going to click the threat again so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Oh, I hate them stupid warning alarms. Yes, this radar covers all 50 states, so that's why you're hearing warnings, but they're not for us. This is the new radar I got earlier this year on my laptop. So let me go back and let's... Hold on. So here's the hail threat. Yep. Everywhere's going to see a big hail threat. like I said, it's gonna everyone everywhere is gonna see a big hail threat. That's not out of the question. The wind's not out of the question either, because I can point it to you right now. This is a 30% chance of wind. That's an enhanced risk kind of wind threat. This in the yellow is a slight risk kind of wind threat. But the red that you see here with the wind threat, that's an enhanced risk kind of wind threat. And it's not even in the enhanced risk. That's the thing. It's not even in the enhanced risk, but that's the kind of wind that you would get in an enhanced risk. And then the purple area, the purple pinkish, where it shows the 45% on up wind threat, that's in the enhanced risk threat. That kind of wind, those kind of winds, you normally get in a moderate risk or a high risk. Which I don't see a high risk being issued. It's not that high. But I do probably see areas like east of Lexington on up northeast. I do see that maybe going under a moderate risk. And then them pulling the orange further on southwest. Because if you think about it, the storms are going to be going this way. They're going to be going from west to east. They're going to be tracking like that. And they're going to intensify as they go east. They have not pulled the wind threat. They have not pulled the wind threat. But they have tugged the tornado threat a little bit. They have tugged it. Which the brown is the 5 to 14% tornado risk, which the tornado risk is actually, that's kind of a slight to enhanced risk category of a tornado risk. The 5 to 14% is the brown, the 2 to 4% is the green. Guys, give me just a second. I'm gonna have to step out of the room. Guys, give me just a second. Back, guys. So, like I was saying, it's gonna go from west to east. Let me get that back up. Why is it doing that? Let me get that back up. There we go. But it's gonna go west to east. And there was a timing. They said the ETA, time of arrival between storms, because there was going to be 2 rounds. They was combining the 2 rounds that they was going to do. It was supposed to be not 10 a.m. Eastern to 10 p.m. Eastern, but 9 a.m. Eastern. 9 a.m. Central to 9 p.m. Central. Okay? The first line of storms is going to be slim. That's lowered. There's probably not going to be much of a first round of storms that are coming in earlier in the day. So what that means is they put out the new ETA that I saw from a storm spotter from the National Weather Service on Facebook. The new ETA will be from 2 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. Eastern, to 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock p.m. Central. It's going to be that. And if there's not much rain, the storm's going to come in before the main round in the afternoon, that could get a little dangerous. Because the heat is what builds up these storms. If we can get some rain and some storms before the main round comes into, like some rain and stuff before the storms come in, that might lower the chances down just a little bit. We did have that, but I saw 2 hours ago that may not just be the case. But it could change. It could change. I've seen weather flip-flop before. So here's the current. Let's look at the National Weather Service chart now. I think I've yapped about that graphic enough. So let's look at the National Weather Service chart. It says, charts story. It says strong line of storms will move through Tuesday. Isolated scattered severe storms will be possible ahead of the line of storms, which that's changed. So I don't think they've updated it. That's probably going to be a lesser of a threat. The isolated scattered storms will be possible ahead of the line. That is decreasing, which is not good if it decreases. Maybe it might change back again. Maybe we'll get a little bit of rain or maybe a scattered storms. But those probably won't be severe as the main line if we get any. But if we can get that pre-storm workout before the main line gets there, it may calm things down a little bit. It may calm things down. Apparently confidence is increasing in severe weather. So the confidence is still increasing. Damaging winds, tornadoes possible, and flash flooding possible. I know this hasn't updated it yet, but they have added hail. It hasn't updated yet. So I'll probably be up till it updates. If I wanted to, I could almost do the live till it updates, but I'm not going to let you guys listen to me blab for an hour and a half waiting for it to update. So, yeah. Here's the 0 to 12 hour forecast. Tonight's low temperature. Okay, Sunday's lowest heat index was in the 60s. Tonight's winds was blowing south-southwest in the single digits. The Monday night wind gust was in the single digits. We had a couple of double digits. No chance of precipitation that came through today. And there was a little bit of precipitation totals in eastern Kentucky. So let's look at the 12-24 hour forecast. High temperatures was going to be in the 80s and 90s. The heat index is going to be 103 to 108 degrees in some areas. That's going to be hot. And the winds are going to be blowing west-southwest. And the afternoon wind gusts will be in the teens for tomorrow. And the chance of precipitations is in the 80s, 90s, and 100s. So we're definitely going to get some rain. And we're going to get a good amount of precipitation totals tomorrow when the storm passes through. And I can tell you this right now, guys. Let me just say this right now, guys. My theory is, I'm going to tell you my theory is, I know the weather says Usually when there's severe storms, if it says if you get rain and clouds ahead of the storms, it'll knock down the severe weather threat some. But if you don't get any rain or scattered general storms ahead of the severe storms, then the heat's going to build up, and when the sun comes out, the heat's going to build up, and it's going to fuel more fire to the storms. It's going to put more fuel to the fire. Now, I can tell you by the heat index that you just saw, being close to 100, my theory is, I don't think the rain and clouds, if we get any, is going to stop that. Because heat fuels the storms. I don't think it's going to be enough to prevent that. If anything, it's probably just going to make it more muggier. But that's probably going to be from just areas east of 65. But as of right now, as it stands, the enhanced risk to greater threat is from Frankfurt on east to Lexington, northeast up to Ohio and Pennsylvania. We're in the slight risk. I will post something later before I go to bed if there's an update, which is supposed to update in about an hour and 15 minutes. So we should get an update around that time to see if it stays the same or if they pull it or if they chop it. Okay, so let's look at the graphic charts real quick. So here's what it looks like for today. We had some general thunderstorms. I don't think we had much of anything here. But it said scattered rain and thunderstorms. Severe weather threat remained up across Minnesota, Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa. And then, oh wow. This is going to be a hectic ride tomorrow. Damaging winds, tornadoes, and flooding all together. Look at this. From our area up to Indiana, Ohio, even up to New York, and even into western parts of the New England states, severe thunderstorms and flooding. So the rain behind these storms could create some flash flooding. And then, as Wednesday passes, over in the Virginias and Carolinas, they get general thunderstorms and flooding. And there is the tropical storm as it makes landfall or gets close to Louisiana. That's a tropical storm you see down there. Tropical Storm 2. But, yeah. So here's the hourly forecast. As you guys can see, it's going to be in the 70s probably throughout the night. 80 degrees at 8 a.m. It's going to be up in the 80s, maybe even 90. Nope. Come 1 o'clock, it drops back down to the mid to lower 80s. And look at this. Look at this. From 1 o'clock on down, thunderstorms. And then rain afterwards. So we could be. So the timing of the storms, actually, they said is going to be between. There is a new SETA. But let's see what the feel like temperatures are going to be like. 80s. Do we have a 90? We have it feels like 91 at 9 a.m. Oh my gosh. Feels like 95 degrees with storms. By the time the storms come in, oh my gosh, this is going to be hectic with the heat. This is going to be really hectic with the heat. And the dew points are going to be in the 70s. Yeah, I think the dew points are going to remain in the... Well, we got 180, but that's about it as far as the dew points. So it looks like there's a small break in the storms, and then they start right back up. And then the precipitation, I'm not going to go all the way, but I can tell you this right now. It's going to be close to 100% chance of precipitation, so we're going to pretty much get some rain or storms everywhere in the coverage area. The humidity, this is what I'm looking for, the humidity and the wind gusts. Humidity is going to be at normal average. It might bring the humidity down, but it's going to make things muggy. Even the winds get up. I don't know if there's going to be some wind energy before the storms get here. I don't know if there is. Because I know sometimes before storms like this get severe to this category, if it's an enhanced risk, even if it's not in our area, even if it's like, let's say, south of us, or north of us, or west of us, or east of us, like, there's usually some wind that comes through, and they would usually prompt a wind advisory and stuff like that. I'm going to come out and say this right now. I can tell you all this right now. People that's in the enhanced risk from Lexington on up, from Lexington or Frankfort on up to the northeast, there's guaranteed there's going to be a tornado watch in those areas. Now, for the slight risk right now, it can go either way. I can tell you the slight risk could go either way. Tomorrow, we could either get put under some kind of a tornado watch, or we get put under a severe thunderstorm watch. That's what I'm thinking what's going to happen in the slight risk area. It's going to be maybe 50-50 of that. But, again, we don't know what the risk is going to look like because it updates in like the next hour. But I'm just going by what I've got right now. I know it's old, I know it has an update, but I'm going by what I've got right now. Now, if it changes, then I will post an update. But let's get to the 7-day forecast, and I'm going to have to wrap up this live because it's getting about late. 11:54. It's getting late. So today it was partly cloudy, high of 87 degrees, low of 73 degrees, low of 73 degrees. Felt warmer than it looks. Tomorrow, thunderstorms, severe, and that's the severe weather risk. High of 88 degrees, low of 75. Will feel like 96 degrees. Feels warmer than it looks. And then Wednesday, it's going to show. It shows light drizzle. High of 81 degrees, low of 67 degrees. Feels like 86 degrees. Feels warmer than it looks. So we're going to get some rain behind these storms, which could prompt flash flooding. So not only we got to worry about the wind and the tornado threat, once it passes through the state, we got to worry about flooding behind it. So Thursday, mild. It's going to be cloudy with mild conditions. High of 78 degrees, low of 62 degrees. So it does cool down a little bit, but it doesn't cool down a lot like we want it to. And then Friday, it's going to be cloudy. Feels like 88 degrees. Feels warmer than it looks. High of 82 degrees. Low 62 degrees. And then the heat comes back up. Saturday, light drizzle. High of 85 degrees. Low 68 degrees. Feels warmer than it looks. Then Sunday, sunny. High of 89 degrees. Low 68 degrees. Will feel like 97. Feels warmer than it looks. So it cools down a little for one day. It cools down. But it doesn't cool down enough. But I'm going to tell you this right now. How the storms are going to act tomorrow afternoon will depend on how the weather goes before the storms fire up. It'll depend on that. If we get some scattered thunderstorms and some rain and some cloudiness before the main line of storms get here, or if we get sun and heat before the storms, because that will depend on whether if the chances goes low or goes higher or stays the same. But if we get some scattered rain showers or some storms, or scattered storms that ain't severe before the line of severe stuff moves in, if we can get some of that, it might kill some of the energy of severe weather. It will lower it. But if we don't and we get sunlight and heat, that's going to be concerning. That's going to be a little bit concerning, especially for the areas that's in the enhanced risk. It's going to be a little bit concerning. Now, I saw the dumbest thing earlier where there's a weather person that I follow, and he was talking about how there's some people out there that will just... There's some people that are just downright stupid when it comes to this. Because there was... I don't know if the person was trolling on the comment or what, but they was saying that apparently people or something from the ground shoots up antennas into the skies and makes lightning form. I don't know what world they came from, but that's just stupid right there. I don't know who in their right mind would believe that crap, but I think it's a bunch of crap. But I'm going to go ahead and end the weather update. It is now 11:58. If severe weather coverage is needed, tomorrow I will be on YouTube, maybe Facebook and YouTube at the same time, because I'm going to try to attempt something. I'm going to try to do YouTube on my phone live and then Facebook sharing the radar screen on my laptop and see how that goes with double lives. But if the Facebook part acts up, then I'll just do YouTube. I'll just tell everybody just to go on to YouTube. But that's how it's going to go if severe weather coverage is needed. Now, I won't do severe weather coverage or go live until like the first warning comes out. There has to be a watch for me to go live, and there has to be a warning. I will not go live until after the first warning starts coming out. That's when I'll go live, when the first warning comes out in the coverage area. So, guys, have ways to get alerts for watches and warnings that comes out. Know where to go if you get put under a severe thunderstorm warning or tornado warning. Know where to go. Have weather radios on and on alert mode. Have wireless alerts on your phone on. Monitor your local weather stations or local weather people you have on your TV. Or watch whoever you want online on Facebook or YouTube Live, whether that's me or some other weather person that streams live on the internet. I'm not forcing you to watch me. You can watch whatever weather person you feel comfortable with. I know there's some people that does like watching my weather stuff, but there's some people that prefers other weather people. I mean, watch who you feel comfortable with or who you rely on for weather. When it comes to that, if it makes you feel comfortable, watch whoever you want. No matter if that's Ryan Hall or George from Weather Now Kentucky or some other weather person that uses WeatherWise. You can watch any of them. Or me, or whoever you feel comfortable with. It doesn't matter as long as you get your information when there's warnings and watches out for your area. But anyway, guys, I think I've yapped enough. It's midnight. I'm going to jump off here. I'm going to stay up another hour and wait for the new thing to come out. And then when the new update comes out, then I'm going to hit the bed. So thank you guys for watching on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. You guys have a great night. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with a weather update. With a weather update tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching.